Hi folks, Ed Amoroso here. I am at the Gartner Conference in Washington with my very good friend Kirsten Bay, CEO of adAPT.
Hello, how are you today?
It's great to see you.
It's great to be here, thank you.
You guys have a beautiful booth here.
We do, we're very fortunate. Prime location.
You did get a good location.
Yes.
How'd you swing that? A great spot.
Well, we're a cool vendor. You can see our teeny tiny little square up there. So no,
very nice.
it's but we really just launched as an organization, as a product, and became a platinum sponsor this year, so we can showcase our new platform called Squid.
That's awesome. You know, Kirsten, there might be people watching who have youngsters thinking about careers in technology. There might be some youngsters watching. How did you get into tech, and how did you become CEO of such a cool cybersecurity company?
Well, we were talking about this earlier, right, that I actually came from a finance and supply chain background. So it wasn't a very likely thing for an English and German literature major to be running a cybersecurity company of all things. But my finance background enabled me to participate in writing a book with the former CIO of the White House on built-in security, about which I knew nothing. But I was so intrigued by the topic, and they asked me to help with the econometric models. How do we value data for loss? A question that we still are tackling today. And as I really worked with them and understood what built-in security models were, it struck me that the financial elements and really bringing that together to have a better business process really is really the way of our future for risk management and for understanding how to run companies better. So I joined this great world of people, and I love the community, and I love the desire to problem solve, and I got hooked, so here I am.
And it's not been just a couple of weeks. You were with in cybersecurity probably a good decade or so, right?
A decade now, yes. So started on the policy side, and then went and worked with iSight partners and did policy integration and policy management, and then started running companies on my own, and was brought in to stand up this detection technology, and here we are.
That's great. Now tell us about adAPT. What's the 101 on the company, on its offering, and why people should be excited about your offering?
Well, the core of our solution is really around detection, and it's solving the problem for when someone wants to move laterally into the network. So when we began the company, we really developed a threat-centric approach because, again, we're intelligence people by trade. Wanted to really help people understand the what do I do question for solving intrusions into a network. But I also saw there was a tremendous blind spot, not just in the internal portion of the network, but also for off-premise devices, laptops, tablets, phones. There was no capability to be able to look at full packet capture in the same way you could do internally in the network. So we integrated a full IPsec tunnel to be able to take that technology and push it against our detection and understand when the same type of bad events are happening at an end user perspective as well as inside the network. We have a firm belief that the mobile platform itself, the off-premise platform, will be compromised in many different ways, either through just social media, Twitter, we see a lot of compromises now, but really the fact that the individual is now a significant vector of threat. So we've been trying to understand how to understand that platform better so that we can understand then the anomalous behavior that might compromise the network and the lateral movement that that's
Interesting. You know, the mobility piece is one of the things that attracted me to what you guys were doing. Why do you suppose it's taken so long for our industry to figure out that mobility is such an important part of the threat vector? I think you guys get that. Why do you think it took so long?
It's a really interesting question, and I think that, and also I think if you look at different cultures, like in Asia and other places where people use their phones in a completely different way, they see mobile security as a very different problem than we see it, I think, in the United States or even maybe a little bit in Europe. But it's a computer, right? And that's the thing I really try to help our customers understand is, if you're worried about a computer inside your network being compromised and you want to see that traffic, why wouldn't you want to see that on an endpoint device? And even today now, I have people say, but I haven't actually seen a user get compromised. And I go, really? So you've never had a single person click on a phishing email on a laptop, ever? And they go, oh, well, I guess, but that's different. And I go, but it isn't different. And that's what people need to recognize is traffic is traffic is traffic.
Yeah, that's true. You see almost all your customers move into cloud. Is that,
yes, absolutely.
That's pretty much an axiom. How does that affect the architecture and the use of a product like the one that you guys provide your customers?
Well, we needed to provide a fully virtualized solution. Yeah. So even from a core network perspective, we needed to be able to put it in a virtual machine so that we could have virtual probes to make it as lightweight as possible. The cost and just the heavyweight nature of networking was something for which we were trying to solve. So we've launched this platform recently where everything's completely virtualized now, and that really helps our customers scale very quickly, deploy very quickly. I mean, one of the big challenges, as you know, is that just the workload that's on the security professional these days, to be able to give ease of deployment both internally and to their users is something that we've really tried to reduce the friction around.
I think that's right. You see a future where people are going to be pointing and clicking to buy security solutions? It seems like that might be...
It's happening today. I mean, you think about, back when Google first launched the cloud, it was on the GSA schedule, and you could go put portions of the cloud in your shopping cart, right? So, I mean, I think that's certainly, it is that sort of Chinese menu concept of security.
I think that's maybe a hint as to how our industry might start to do a better job. I mean, we were chatting before. I worry that the offense has been so far ahead of the defense for so long. What do you think? Like, do we have a prayer of ever catching up as defenders?
I think we do. Yeah, and I've been trying to demystify this world a little bit for people. And so I think about sort of the Wild West and moving money around, right? And we've always had bank robbers or someone trying to steal money of some kind. And offense always outpaced defense in some way. I mean, this is, of course, how we got the Secret Service to protect the movement of money with Wells Fargo stagecoaches, right? So,
is that how they were created? Really, Secret Service was
the currency protection, right? So,
I'll be darned.
This is the world in which we live, and I think that part of it is getting people to recognize that even though you can't see the guy in the bank with the gun, that there's a person, a human, who is doing an attack. And so we need, I think, to think about that finger on the keyboard, but also the face. And we don't blame the bank when a guy walks into a bank with a gun and holds up a bank. But it's different. The trust paradigm, I think, has shifted when it becomes where you can't see that human who is the attacker. And so I've tried to get people to think about we can be just as good as defense on the other side of that equation, but we have to think about it in much the same way. The physical space has transformed itself, but there's still bank robbers. They're still criminals. And we have ways of getting better at it, but we need to focus on it as not this disembodied event, but human beings who do something.
Does it worry you that nation states are involved now, though? Because they really are good.
They're very good.
Like, I think we have to not only up our game on the defensive side, but it seems to me that it's been an unfair fight today. Like, I don't think budgets have been enough. I don't think the attention's been enough. Like, do you think, say at the executive level, do you think it's time now for maybe boards and CEOs to get that cybersecurity is no longer this thing off on the side, it's pretty front and center? Like, am I reading that right, do you think?
Well, I think so. And I think that part of it is helping executives understand the true impact to an organization. I mean, when you look at supply chain models, things like weather, geopolitical risk, those are all things that get factored into any, like if you're in a manufacturing company or some other type of organization, those are factors that you account for in terms of planning your business. So we need to be able to make cybersecurity understandable in that same way. And that's, I think, really incumbent upon us as security professionals, is not to talk about the voodoo black magic part of it, but really make it relatable into this is just another part of your risk management process. And you don't ship goods around the horn and the bad times of the year when the seas could lose a ship or you could lose your GPS, it's the same thing. And I think that we need, again, to bring people back to this is a physical world that has these virtual ramifications, but it's the same type of planning and process that goes into it.
That makes so much sense. So in one word, are you optimistic or pessimistic about cybersecurity moving forward?
I'm optimistic because we're making great strides. And I think that when I see, like at the conference here, a lot of focus on the network traffic analysis pieces and the integration of products together, as you say, us partnering with each other to solve for different parts and elements of the problem, I think we will get better, but we need to really focus on how we integrate more effectively. I think the fact that interoperability in our industry has been so poor. I think that's been one of the things that's really hurt us. But I think that's improving a great deal.
If people want to learn more about CyberAdapt, is their website the best place to start?
Absolutely.
Young people too?
Yep, cyberadapt.com.
That's great.
So
it's wonderful to sit and chat with you.
Such a pleasure.
Love the setup here, and I appreciate you spending some time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Nice to see you, Kirsten.
So nice to see you.
We'll see you next time.